Hey, it's Drybear. We've got some news for the First Descendant, so let's dive in. Apologies for the flashbang, but the first thing to talk about is the Q3 earnings report for Nexon. Nexon is a public company, so they have to give out their reports overall. So now that these numbers are in, we can see the impact that they've had on all of their IPs, but also their most recent addition, the First Descendant, launching in July. And overall, you can see that their Q3 is the best quarter they've had in a very long time. A large contribution from that has been the launch of the First Descendant. And beyond that, kind of a surprising statistic as well is that the First Descendant got up to a strong start in July, delivered a significant contribution to our Q3's results. Among the many achievements for this game was its success in Western markets, which represented 75% of global revenue. So even though this game has been picked up worldwide, in Western markets specifically, so Europe, North America, and even South America, it represented 75% of global revenue. So a lot of people have been buying those bunny skins and those ultimate bundles, contributing a large amount to the revenue earning for Nexon, and also just shows how well the First Descendant was received. Which just goes to show how popular the First Descendant was on launch, and I think the ball is in the devs' court now to show that they can bring regular content. And a big thing that we talk about in game releases as well is the idea of brand equity, the idea that you have a brand that people recognize, and because so many people tried the First Descendant, a lot of people burned out through the grind and are looking for new content. You have a lot of people that are aware of the game. So if they can release crazy new seasons that bring a lot of people back to the game and keep them interested, I think they have a lot of people that are looking forward to new stuff in the First Descendant to bring them back and keep them playing. So with Season 2, a lot of eyes are going to be on the game to see how well they do and how well they succeed in that, and how well they keep their players engaged going forward into the future. But they've also been continuing to answer questions in Dev Q&A on their Discord, so let's walk through the latest answers so we know what's coming into Season 2 and beyond. This one was a big one, but I think the thing to focus about this question specifically is that they were asking about a large-scale raid dungeon. So something big enough to represent a large group, maybe 4 to even more players on that. And the response is that a large-scale raid dungeon that allows for more party members is something we have always aspired to create. However, we have learned that achieving this requires significant growth and learning. And you think about the Colossi battles they've had so far, some of them have been really good, some of them have been really not good, and I think learning how to make good mechanics and good encounters while they scale that up to larger battles is a good approach to take. For now, we are focusing on refining the basic game loop and enhancing its quality. Once we have a solid foundation, we aim to release even more engaging dungeons and content, and the potential for large-scale raid encounters in the future. And hopefully they can make that happen, because it would be super fun to have a huge raid battle with a bunch of people in a dedicated static trying to make things happen. Next, they had feedback around the skins, and they responded with it would be a great reference for future skins developed. We're also working hard to add more skins that appeal to a broader range of players. While there's still many areas to improve as we're in the stage of service, we hope to understand this period as one of adjustment and fine tuning. So they are looking to add more varied skins. I think there are going to be more in Season 2. Honestly, a lot of the skins that came out through Season 0 and Season 1 were kind of the same vibe. They had a lot of same focus on which audience member they were targeting and what they looked like. And also style-wise too, I would say that there's definitely not as many available skin options for more tastes and different kinds of perspectives in the game. And hopefully they continue to do this. And honestly, for what I've seen in the Season 2 content for skins, there does seem to be a little bit more variety in that as well. A great question was, will there be customization options for visual effects, so VFX for characters? And the response was no. So being able to change the color of Bunny's lightning, the color of Freyna's poison clouds, things like that. And they responded with no, we plan to we keep the effect colors that convey information related to attributes and combat meta the same, so they don't plan to have any color or effect changes for customization. They reiterated that they will be having photo mode on the way. They're actively having developer meetings going over photo mode. They have a photo mode light in the game right now where you can preview a skin on your character from the skin customization screen, but it's not a true photo mode where you can pause time. And I think there's going to be a lot of questions of, in a multiplayer game where you can't pause the movement of everything around you, getting a photo mode that works, that shows your character, giving you possible poses, so you're not idling through that photo mode. They're probably working through all of those ins and outs so they can provide a good photo mode for us, but they are working on it. Another great question around the addition of Colossi to the training area, like the actual training room, so you can test out part break, damage to resistances, and also being able to hit Colossi specifically because they have their own defensive stats that affect the damage you'll get from skills and weapons alike. So adding that to the training room is something they are talking about. Now, they mentioned that they don't want the training room to become its own battle zone, and obviously the Colossi are so large, it would change and affect the impact there, but they talk about having an inactive or disabled Colossi in the training room that you can spawn and also shoot at, that allows you to test damage numbers against the specific Colossi to make sure that you're getting your build just right and also perfecting that, and they do want to talk about it. And they also talk about providing more events in the future that help support things that people are looking for in the game. They also confirmed that they are working for more skins for ultimate weapons. I think the big piece of feedback from Season 0 and Season 1 has been that a lot of the weapon skins have been for blue weapons, which aren't usable. They aren't good enough to be used over any other weapon, and sometimes purple weapons as well, whereas most of the end game, all of the end game really comes to ultimate weapons. So they mentioned that they are bringing more ultimate weapon skins to the game that people can equip to their current ultimate weapon to make it look different and feel different because they are using it more than any other weapon type. Now, some questions around the fellows or the companions. The first one was, will you be able to turn on or off the auto dismantle feature for your companion? And the answer is yes. They've already thought about this. So with the start of Season 2 in a couple weeks here, they will be allowing you to disable or enable the auto dismantle feature that your fellow will have while he's following you around. However, for some odd reason, they have mentioned that at least in the focus group testing build, once you activate and have a fellow companion, you can't turn them off. They will always be on following you forever, and they recognize this as something that people may want to change. Now, I don't know why you'd ever want to have your little fellow companion go away or disappear, maybe for photo mode or certain emotes or things like that, but currently in the build that they have, you can't turn the companion off once it's on. It is on forever, but they are considering adding an option to be able to hide or disable the companion when you decide to, on top of the feature that's already in the build, which is allowing you to disable or enable the auto dismantle. Next is a note on upcoming balance. The two major takeaways here is it looks like Jayber is going to be getting another major Descendant balance patch in January and in December to keep him aligned with other characters and just help him become more useful overall. I think a lot of this comes down to them being normal Descendants too, but there's also just a question of whether or not the base Descendants are even usable in many cases. So Jayber does have some positive balance changes coming his way. And the second question was around Freyna specifically. And so what they've decided to do with Freyna is not make any short-term balance changes to her, but with the new Void Vessels and Void activities in Season 2, she will be balanced down to Bunny's level, where you will need a little bit more skill damage overall rather than spreading skill. It's like more direct damage to break the Void shields, which they think will bring Freyna down a little bit in comparison to, like, say, the special operations for defense or the 400% dungeons, where there's a lot of low HP targets everywhere. Needing more skill damage to single target will make Freyna a little bit less viable compared to other characters. Next, they confirmed that in Season 2, they plan to have a lot of events giving rewards, more of the events that we've seen so far in Season 1, and specifically, they plan to have a lot of events in Season 2 that provide crystallization catalysts for catalyzing your characters and your weapons, as well as energy activators to raise their capacity. So there will be a lot more events planned for Season 2. Hopefully, there's an event up at all times, depending on what time of the day you're talking about, but having an event that you can loot from, and they specifically mean that they want to have catalysts and energy activators come from a lot of these events. This next one was a big one from the recent news, but it's the idea that they will have confirmed that they will not be reselling any of the limited skins that were there before. So like the panda skin, the onesie, the academy schoolgirl outfits, or the maid outfits, all of those skins, if they were labeled as limited in game, they will never be returning to the game. However, they have confirmed that they might do some like alterations to them or recolors of them and bring them back again in various forms, but the exact version of those will never return. Once they've said it's a limited skin in game, they have no intention of ever selling it again, and that is confirmed directly from the developers. So if you're looking for those skins, unfortunately, those are gone forever. And lastly, is part of another response, which I didn't think was that important, but the part that's listed here is super important. Right in the middle of this response, they say, we aim to make Keelan a character comparable to Bunny and Freyna Freyna in terms of monster hunting capabilities, along with an amazing look to match. So the new Descendant, Keelan, the toxic male Descendant that has the ability to dash in air and dash through enemy targets, spreading debuffs, toxic effects, and shooting out rockets and stuff like that. They want him to be a mobber on the level of Bunny and Freyna when he comes out, and it might be more of a Haley situation where Haley, even without an ultimate form and even without Transcendent modules, was still one of the best, if not the best, single target character that you could use in the game for burning bosses down, and it's possible that Keelan will fit into that same role. So on the launch for December 5th for Season 2, we're going to get Keelan, a brand new mobbing character, as well as ultimate sharing, which hopefully is incredibly strong and comes with a nice rework, maybe even a Jayber rework as well to get even more powerful in that, plus all the new content. It'll be awesome to see how all that comes together. But of course, let me know what you think about the current state of the First Descendant, the earnings call showing the First Descendant doing well, and of course, if you're looking forward to Season 2 coming in just a few weeks here. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.